Hello everyone, I hope you guys are having a good day. It is March 9th, and today I am back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about our upcoming severe weather, and we're also going to be talking about a pretty significant major winter storm that's going to be impacting areas of Colorado, Nebraska, Wyoming, and Kansas this weekend. And some of those areas could see pretty heavy snowfall accumulations. And so we're going to be talking about those two things, mainly this video. But yeah, so let's get started. So this is our day 2 outlook from the SPC. We have a slight risk in southeastern Kansas, western Missouri, and northern Oklahoma. Major cities in that is Wichita. Yeah, I think Wichita is right on the western edge of that. Kansas City is in that slight risk. And I'm pretty sure that's it. Let's see. Yeah, Wichita, Overland Park, Kansas City, Kansas, and Topeka, Kansas. Those are all cities in it. In the slight risk. And in the marginal, we have Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Norman, Broken Arrow, and Edmond. So that's in the marginal risk. Now, the SBC is not expecting a tornado risk. They don't have a 2% put in. It's less than 2% all areas. So what that means is that the SPC, they pretty much don't think tornadoes are going to be the main threat. If they thought tornadoes were going to be the main threat or the most important thing, then we would probably have a 5% tor risk. For this, but no, we do have, or the slight risk is in for hail. That is why we have a slight risk, and we have a 15% hail risk in areas in northern Oklahoma into western Missouri, and a 5% wind. Now we're gonna have to see what the SBC does, because it does look like we could have maybe a secondary area in this area, and we're gonna be talking about that in just a few minutes. But let's take a look at the day 3 and the day 4 through 8 outlooks. This is day 3. This is Thursday, March 11th, and we have a marginal extending from southwestern Texas into northwestern Arkansas and southwestern Missouri, and that's pretty much it. We're gonna talk about that briefly, not really a lot though. Day 4, which is Friday, the SBC has adjusted their 15%. It includes areas like Oklahoma City, Wichita Falls, and a good chunk of central Oklahoma actually. Day 5, we have a really classic looking plains risk 15%. This is Saturday. Yes, Saturday, March 13th. Nice shape 15% that goes from central Texas up into southern Kansas. And yeah, we do have a day 6. We don't have a day 7 or 8 outlook. We do have a day 6, so it extends from southeastern Kansas into northwestern Louisiana. So pretty interesting next couple of days of severe weather here. We have a lot of outlooks out from the from the Storm Prediction Center today through. We have day 4 through day 6 outlooks are out, and that's how it's been for the past 2 days. Day 7 looks a little interesting, not really a whole lot though. Yeah. So with this severe weather, I'll just talk about this briefly. We're gonna have a chance of flash flooding. So this is the Weather Prediction Center's excessive rainfall forecast. It's kind of a flash flood risk map. Risk of rainfall exceeding flash flood guidance within 25 miles of a point. So let me move this out of the way for y'all. Sorry. We can see this is for day 2. So that means that's for Wednesday. We have a marginal and just a little bit of northwestern Wisconsin. We're gonna have the warm front and some heavier rains, and then day 3 we had that marginal from areas of southwestern Missouri all the way up into southwestern Ohio. So a lower flood threat than we've had in the past couple weeks, especially in areas of Kentucky where we've had pretty significant flooding over the past couple weeks. Doesn't look like it's going to be as significant of an event as that, but it does look like we could have some isolated flash flooding in some of these areas right here. Now let's go ahead and talk about Wednesday, because Wednesday's a day I've been watching for a while. So we can see tomorrow morning we could maybe have some isolated thunderstorms in areas of Iowa, maybe Wisconsin, ahead of this front. We have a low right here. It looks like we probably have a warm front setting up kind of in this area. We can look at the stream lines and tell, yeah, that might go a little bit further north. Then we have moisture on that, and we have an enhanced lift, and so we are getting maybe a chance of some thunderstorms if we have enough instability. But that's not the main threat, of course. So this is Wednesday afternoon. This is around 3 to 4 p.m. We have our low right here. Now this is the main difference I've been watching. So we go back to yesterday's run, the 00Z from yesterday. So right here, 309. That's going to be the run from yesterday. We can see same time, we got the 21Z Wednesday. the low is further northeast, or not northeast, sorry, southeast. It was right here. That may not seem like a big difference, but that is a pretty big difference in terms of severe weather, because remember yesterday the HRRR was showing maybe a supercell or two going off on the triple point, kind of in this area. Now that has continued for today. That trend is still there, but the low is further northeast, so we're gonna have to see how that's gonna, or not northeast, I'm sorry, northwest. We're gonna have to see how that plays into that, because this is only March, and severe weather in Minneapolis, it's pretty rare in March. And so yeah, let's go to the latest run we can look at, because the O1Z is the latest one, but it doesn't go out fully. But we can see it does show a few supercells going off by that trouble point. This is 23Z. We have our low right there. Strong cold front right here, and storms going off, even maybe an isolated supercell or two in this area. Now we're going to have to see what the SPC does with this, though, because we could maybe see an additional marginal, maybe a 2% TOR risk. Let's look into that a little bit and take some soundings. We're going to have to go over to Pivotal to take soundings with the HRRR, though. We can look at some severe weather ingredients on College of DuPage, and we actually have a good bit of CAPE in front of that area. We have a lot, actually. 1,700, 1,700. This is SB, though. Let's go to 0 to 3 kilometer CAPE. So pretty much just CAPE in the lower levels. This is very surprising. Actually, no, sorry. Got around 226. Not very significant, but yeah. So you can see, I'll just use SB for now. Around 1,500 CAPE, let's just go with that. Maybe upwards of 1,700 if this model is right. And just to correct this model, let's go over to the NAM model, go to the same area, same model run. Let's get SB CAPE and see what the NAM is saying in comparison to that model. The NAM actually has it further to the northwest by a lot. We have a lot less CAPE. So that's also probably why the SPC has not fully put in the marginal for that area, is because that's pretty uncertain. Only around 1,000 CAPE, and it's a lot further to the west. So, yeah, let's go back over to the HRRR and go back over to the run we want. Now, another thing is along this cold front, we couldn't really look at this yesterday because we didn't have, or the HRRR didn't go out far enough. Along this cold front extends pretty far south. We're going to have storms fire off. These storms will last into the night, maybe in this area, bring some damaging wind gusts. Not damaging, but gusty winds, maybe even into Illinois, eastern Missouri. And the SPC is expecting a large hail threat in this area, which I can understand where that is coming from. And we're going to take some soundings in a second. First off, let's just look at dew points. So we can see we have dews of almost 60, around 60, almost in this area right here, where we have right to the northeast of the low. And then we have, in the southern part of this, we have dews almost 60 in southeastern Kansas. In the area we're expecting severe weather, the average is around middle 50s for dews. So that's not bad this time of year. Middle 50s, that could support severe weather, of course. Now let's go over to the HRRR and try and take some soundings for tomorrow. So we got the run we want. And let's go over to the HRRR, like I said. Let's take some soundings in front of these, like, interesting looking cells. Now, this is interesting for sure. We have a little bit of an enlarged hodograph for the lower levels of it. Possible hazard type is TOR, but don't pay much attention to that. 58 degree dew point. Shear, that can favor weaker tornadoes for sure. That actually is decent looking shear. We have winds veering of height for really the whole sounding, which is pretty interesting. Problem is it is slightly capped, and we don't have a whole lot of a lift. We don't have steep lapse rates and that kind of stuff, but we might have enough lift to push through a weak cap, and we probably will. So we could maybe have an isolated supercell or two in this area. I wouldn't be surprised, but it is kind of uncertain at this point because the NAM and other models aren't really showing it now. As we go later into the night, it shows a line of storms, let's just say that, forming kind of in eastern Iowa, that area. It's just as severe sounding of a dew point of 51. It is very cap, and tornadoes are not going to like that cap. So that could limit this, or it could limit the tornado potential with this a lot. And I don't really think we're going to have much of a tornado potential in this area. You can see shear is okay. We have winds veering a height other than a little bit in the kind of middle levels. We don't. They back a little bit, but not too bad. This is not a terrible sounding. That could support severe weather definitely. Let's go on to Kansas. So that's where we have our 15% hail risk. And let's take some soundings in that area. So we got this sounding. SRH, look at that. It is capped though, so that could be a reason why the SPC is not putting in a 2%, even a 2%. That could be a reason why they're not putting in that 2% is because of pretty strong capping. Now let's go over to the NAM real quick. Actually, take some soundings off the NAM because I feel like they might be going off the NAM maybe a little bit more. So let's just yeah, here we go. Go over to this, and I'm going to get, or no, I'm not going to do that. So the NAM has kind of some storms maybe going off in this area. I'll just take a sounding right here. Marginal severe is cap once again though. That inversion looks pretty terrible. Shear could favor maybe weak circulations. Not really a pretty messy HOTO. So not really good with that sounding. And once you move sort of to the southeast, you can take a sounding here. This is a little bit better though. We still have that cap, especially towards the surface. Cape, we're a little low on instability, but it's still manageable. Shear could favor maybe some weak circulations once again, maybe a weaker tornado. Winds backing a little bit in between around 3 and 6 kilometers up. But at the surface, we do have some decent shear. We can also look at the exact numbers right here. 48 knots, 39 knots, and 51 knots. So that's not bad. For surface to 1 kilometer, surface to 3, and EFF inflow. And even in the upper levels, it's pretty good also. Now, that HOTO also doesn't look terrible. So definitely something to watch for maybe the SPC putting in a 2%. Could be maybe in Kansas into Missouri. Or they could go a little bit risky and go up into, or do one in Iowa, Minnesota. Maybe not Minnesota, but kind of the Iowa area. We'll have to see what they do. Now let's talk about this because this is something I haven't talked about at all in any of my videos yet. We are going to be having a pretty big winter storm this weekend in the Rockies and even in the areas like Denver. Some very hefty accumulations are going to happen with this. We go out to Friday evening. We have our low kind of starting to get going. Maybe not really strong at all. It's kind of in eastern New Mexico. Let's just say New Mexico for now. We have a lot of rain across the front, across probably a warm front, right there, bringing maybe a chance of some flood concerns to that area. And we have a little bit of snow. Nothing too bad for the Rockies now. As we go into Saturday morning, though, it starts to ramp up as we get a lot more moisture. We have our low in northern Oklahoma. Along the warm front and to the north of that, we have a lot of rain. It doesn't look like we're going to have any winds or precipitation in areas like Missouri, Kansas, over into Kentucky. And on the backside of this, we have a lot of snow, especially right here, right over Denver. A lot of snow. And then we go into Saturday afternoon. That snow just continues as this low just sits there, bringing in moisture. From the Gulf, which the Gulf is pretty cold for this time of year right now. Part of that is because of the historic February Arctic outbreak. So areas in the northwestern Gulf are a little bit cooler than they were at this time last year. So that could it's going to limit some of the moisture we can get, but looks like the GFS is forecasting plenty of moisture to come up with this. So we have southerly winds, we have just enough cold air, a ton of heavy snow in this area. This very heavy snowfall accumulations with this. Even as we go into Sunday, it's still bringing snow. Then the GFS is a nasty winter storm moving in the areas like maybe Omaha, especially to the north of town, areas like Des Moines, and then into maybe this area as the low starts to broaden out and die sort of next Monday. we start to lose that snow. Remnants of the upper level low are kind of like right here. Surface low is right here. And we have just some rain left over across this area, with maybe some snow in the northern areas and some snow showers potentially in this area. So this could be a pretty big winter storm, actually, for this area. We're not going to look at accumulations for this area just yet, because this is far out. That's uncertain. But let's go to the GFS here. Let's look at total snowfall accumulations with the GFS. We're going to use the Kuchera ratio. Or actually, because we don't have the Kuchera ratio on the European, we're going to use a 10-to-1 just for an equal comparison. Now this is just some insane accumulations. Just 20s in up to the north of Omaha, 15 in downtown Omaha, 18 in Des Moines. Just very heavy snowfall accumulations right here. And this could be wet snow in some areas. Look at this area though, 55 inches. Really close to Denver. That is insane. Now keep in mind, this is a 10-to-1. We go over to the Kuchera ratio. It's most likely going to be a little bit lower. Actually, no, 60 right to the southwest. That is a lot of snow. And let's go out to, let's lock it in here on Monday. Yeah, let's lock it in here at hour 153. And let's go over to the European and see what the European has. So, yep, the Euro has pretty much, it has it over the same area. The big difference is it does not have as much snow in this area. It still has a lot, like 2 feet in some areas, like Denver. But it doesn't have 60 inches right to the west of town. But it does have a lot more in northwestern Nebraska, southwestern South Dakota, and eastern Wyoming. Look at this, 40 inches up there. That's pretty insane for northwestern Nebraska. 46 inches up there. So if this does happen, which we're likely gonna have a very significant winter storm this weekend, for these areas. Now, where we see, or not where we see, but exactly like, or yeah, where we see the heaviest snowfall. That's that's not really uncertain. Actually, I'm surprised the models are doing this good at it. But how much heavy snow we see for areas like Denver, that is kind of a question right now. Let's go over the Canadian also. That's another model that is pretty good and comparable to the GFS in the Euro. We have around 20 inches in the Denver area. Maybe isolated areas of 2 feet, but look at northeastern Colorado, 40, almost 50 inches in areas of western Nebraska. So it looks like, kind of what we learned from this is, it looks like we could have a chance of very heavy snowfall in this area this weekend, and even into maybe early next week, and kind of maybe late Friday also. So very interesting to look at this, and we'll see what it does by tomorrow's video. But yeah, I hope you guys had a good, or I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will be back tomorrow. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good rest of your Tuesday.